Good to go?
Yeah.
G'day. I'm Dan Shreiber. I am the co-producer of the Museum of Curiosity, and I'm sitting with our host, the man who produced Blackadder. He produced Not the 9 O'Clock News, Spitting Image, QI, and he also is a CBE and a professor of ignorance at the University of Buckingham, John Lloyd. This is an exclusive behind the scenes into the Museum of Curiosity. For anyone who hasn't heard our show, how would you describe it to them?
Well, it's a very large thing distilled into a very small space. I mean, so the Museum of Curiosity, in theory, is a virtual museum of infinite extent. So it means we can have in it anything from a caldera of volcanoes. No, it's cordillera of volcanoes. We can have anything in it from a long line of volcanoes to an electron, or I think we've had silence, we've had all sort of abstract notions, or a yeti, or whatever. And the idea is that each week we have 3 different guests who are experts in something or other, and they offer a new exhibit for the museum, which we then discuss where to store it or how to store it and so forth. So it's a very densely packed, informational thing, peppered with jokes and good cheer, really.
Okay, I'm going to go for the big question that everyone always asks, which is, if you could put something in the museum yourself, what would that be?
My donation to the Museum of Curiosity would be consciousness itself.
Consciousness. Okay.
The entirety of consciousness. Now I have, as you know, a lot to say about this thing. I was reading a thing on YouTube the other day, a review of a book by Deepak Chopra's latest book's about to come out, which is called, I can't remember the exact title, but you'll tell me. And it's a conversation between a quantum physicist and Deepak about basically these 2 worldviews. The world of the measurable, the scientific method thing, and the world of there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. And I love science, but I tend to lean towards the immeasurable. I say I'm an immaterialist. I believe that nothingness is at the heart of everything, that paradox is at the heart of everything, and unless you can grasp the idea that all of something is in fact made out of nothing, quite literally, which it is, and you'll remember Marx de Sautoy talking about this in terms of mathematics. He's a Platonist, as am I, and the mathematics, he believes, was there before the universe. Numbers aren't made of anything, right? So somehow, through a quantum fluctuation we don't understand, out of a digital nothingness comes everything that we see around us. And if you go back to Hindu philosophy, for example, they always say that consciousness is the ground of being. It is the great whatever it is. Consciousness is below, and it is both immanent and transcendent, like Christian mystics would say God is. It's everywhere. It's in everything, In all those Eastern religions, rocks and flowers, and they're all conscious too. Consciousness is just the stuff of which everything else is made. So I donate that to the museum. Now, the joy of this is that it's infinitely large, but also weighs nothing and has no volume at all. So it can be put in any room and it'll be very, very unobtrusive. You'd find it under the carpet or whatever. But most particularly, consciousness is already in the museum, of course, because everything's conscious in this theory of things. But what I want people to do, Dan, is to be able to access this directly, all right? True consciousness happens, like, for example, if you've ever meditated seriously, you will sometimes, after many, many years of practice, get to a point where you suddenly realize you are completely conscious but not thinking. That is the aim of meditation. To get to a point where the jabbering monkey in your head is silent and all you are is a sense of it, for most of us, only happens for a nanosecond. You go, there, that's it. That is what it is. It is what the thing is. It's what the universe is. It's this nothingness that actually underlies and informs everything. Now, in the museum, for practical purposes, I want this to be available to everyone in drinking fountains, right? Just instead of water, you get a spurt of thing, and it's like, there's oxygen masks. You get a sort of complete, whoa, Jesus, They just get one. That's enough to last you for it's like being on acid, and I haven't been to a Zen monastery for 19 years, and you just there's a little tap on the wall. You just get a hit of it, and you get a sense of, I've never taken drugs of any sort, but I understand on things like mescaline and acid and so on, you get this sense of oneness, that everything is joined up, that everything is meaningful and real and incredibly colourful. And that is what I think you'd be able to get out of these taps and conduits. And of course it'd be served in the museum canteen. You could have a small, perhaps prawn cocktail with consciousness. So you'd be able to tap into it at any moment. It would really make it a really quite a sexy museum to go to.
That's a great donation.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
it could work.
Yeah.
I just have this picture of people being able to come in and, like putting on headphones and hearing great music, you just put on this consciousness and you go, whoa, I haven't been paying attention at all. This is amazing. Whoa, carpet. Oh, that's so cool. All those little threads to make one huge thing. And the greyness of it is amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Is it like enlightenment? Is that what consciousness, in that big dose, is that what you mean? Do the people who achieve enlightenment kind of feel that same thing?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure I know. Well, these are very difficult concepts. Of course they are, because they're, and so is all the concepts in quantum physics, extremely difficult. Gravity is an extremely difficult thing to get your head around. And this idea that we're going to find the Higgs boson, which is suddenly, oh, fine, we found, there it is, gravity done for. That's not going to help anything. All the Higgs boson will do is tell us that the standard model of the subatomic particles that we think we know about is as correct as we can get. We have to have this thing, otherwise everything, pretty much, that we think we understand about how the universe is built fundamentally is not right. We have to find this thing. Like we have to find the 98% of the universe that's made of this imaginary stuff, dark matter and dark energy. If we don't find it, then you can kiss the goodbye everything to do with the Big Bang and everything to do with the expanding. God knows, nothing.
Because it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay, well, opening line to every single one of our shows since Series 1 is, hello, welcome to the Museum of Curiosity. My name's John Lloyd, and I am the Professor of Ignorance at the University of Buckingham. So that is another big question we always get asked about. John Lloyd, Professor of Ignorance at the University of Buckingham. So what can you tell people about that title and how you got it?
Well, the University of Buckingham is a very small, I think it's the smallest university in the country, very, very secretive. Private. It's the only private university in the country. I'm afraid I can't say anything more about it.
Well, okay, you got given, you chose the post of Professor of Ignorance, didn't you?
Well, they wanted initially, would I be Professor of Comedy, perhaps? And I said, well, the difficulty is that nobody understands comedy. I don't. It's far too difficult a subject to teach. But ignorance, I know a lot about that. And I can certainly talk about that till the cows come home.
Do you think that, it's obviously you came up with the post as, I guess, I mean, it's a funny titled post, but do you think there's kind of a relevance for it in universities? Do you think every university should have a Professor of Ignorance?
Yes, good question. I do. I think like every child should take a GCSE in interestingness and go on to an A-level in what should we call more interestingness.
More interesting. Advanced interestingness.
Advanced interestingness. I think you have a degree in it.
It is so weird when, I mean, this goes back to Professor of Ignorance post, but effectively those would be the lessons saying, we don't understand time, which is something we talk a lot about in this upcoming series with Roger Highfield,
yes,
editor of New Scientist. We don't understand time, as you're saying, we don't understand gravity. But even bizarre things like, I read in Mark Abram of Ig Nobel Prizes, who's got a book out of all the winners, and one of them, I had no idea, scientists don't know why, when you're in the shower curtain will head towards you and wrap around you.
I didn't, that's marvellous.
They have no idea. And there's different theories on both sides. They effectively fight over the right theory. But something as simple as a shower curtain coming
fantastic.
inwards. Yeah, and just everywhere you look. That's
what we do. Now the thing is, the thing about us teaching ignorance, by teaching people the things we don't know, you actually get to the heart of things much better. And then you can relax. You say, well, okay. For example, I read in the Encyclopedia Britannica, one of the first things that piqued my interest in interestingness was that there are there were then, this is in the late 90s, 5 theories of aerodynamics, and none of which agree with each other. So we don't really know why planes stay up in the air. We know that they do. It's pretty reliable that they go on saying, we don't really know why it is. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more scary than the shower curtain
Yeah.
by quite a long way.